Stuck in the car again, and I figured I'd throw this on and go for a little drive and talk about some things in the news. Hey, have you guys heard about what's going on in California? Have you heard about that? Yeah, a couple of people are all big mad that people are trying to uphold the law. All right, I mean, there's other opinions on that too, kidnapping people and you're snatching up American citizens. It depends on what news source you get, what kind of story you're going to get. So anyway, the basics of it are that ICE agents are picking up people in California, and they're getting them from everywhere. They're doing raids and blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Now, what I've noticed is, perhaps you've noticed this as well, that when people are arrested, now the FBI is there, the ICE agents are there, they have DEA there, they're all coming out. I think they're all they have National Guard, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone's out there. They're all arresting people. What happens is they're getting arrested and they're dumping them back into the same California court system that is letting them go. Oh no, slap on the wrist. Now, I think if you're throwing cinder blocks at cops, like those guys on the bridge the other day, if you're throwing cinder blocks at cops, that's attempted murder. Just my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. But if you're attempting to hit someone in the head with a brick, I don't know. Is it too much of a leap to get there and say they were attempting murder? I don't know. But anyway, they're being charged with failure to disperse or rioting or breach of the peace. Or it doesn't matter what they're getting arrested for on the scene. They're going straight into the California court system, and the courts are just like dismissed or, oh no, disorderly. Here's your $40 fine, and you're good to go. So let me be a prediction. Let me be a predictor. I'm going to tell you what's going to come next.
Slow down.
I have a truck that's trying to run me off the road, you fucking asshole. So anyway, what's next is they're going to stop sending them to California courts. What they're going to do is they're going to start saying, oh no, you're being charged with a federal crime. Because when you do violence on a federal officer, DEA or ICE or whatever, those guys are federal. When you do violence and commit crimes against a federal officer, they are going to drop you into a federal court. Now, federal courts can be anywhere. Let's say they send you to a nice district court and they arrest you, kettle you up, put you on the plastic handcuffs, and then they put you on a van and they drive you to Montana. Hey, there's federal courts in Montana. And now all these guys are gone. They're not on the scene. Yeah, you're in Montana now, or you're in Texas, or you're in Oklahoma. Go to a federal court there. That's my best guess. Because I have a feeling that Holman and Hegseth and Bondi and all these people are going to be just about sick of the California kangaroo courts letting these criminals back out to do more crime. So the ones that don't get immediately deported, the illegal immigrants, they're going to get deported. They can't do anything about that. ICE is going to snatch them up, send them to the border, boom, they're gone. But we're talking about the liberal arts college students on trust fund babies that are actually organizing all these things, and those are the ones doing the violence, and they might actually be citizens even though they claim to be Mexican with all the Mexican flag waving I'm seeing out there. Anyway, point being, if they can't deport them and they're not having success with the California courts, I think they're going to put them in federal courts. They're going to put them straight into the federal system. Kind of like what they did with the J6 people. Oh no, you're going to get a year before we give you actual charges? Hey, listen, Trump's mad. Trump's mad. They tried to kill him. They tried to impeach him twice, 3 times, 5 times. I'm not sure how many times they tried to impeach him at this point. They tried to kill him. They raided his home and went through his wife's underwear drawer. The Democrats, guys, you poked the bear. You pissed off the bear. He's mad. He's big mad. He's all kinds of mad, and he's got all the power now. What do you think was going to happen? You thought you were going to win. That's what the problem is. You thought you were going to win. You didn't win. The American people are like, now we've had enough of this Democrat stuff. We're good. We're gonna vote for some law and order. The only problem is we're getting the law and order that the country voted for. And the Democrats, true to form, are saying, no, man, we don't want that. We want more illegals. We want to give them more benefits. We want to let them vote. We want them to be more important than the voting citizens. We want them to have free housing. We want them to have free healthcare. We want them to have free food, free everything. And the people that live here and they work hard and they get raped by the IRS, yeah, they don't care about them. They don't care about them at all. So, do you know, I read a statistic the other day. Someone go ahead and fact check me on this, see if you can figure this out. When you retire, the average person getting a Social Security payment for retirement gets about $1,200 a month. I think that's about right. That's the average. Some get more, some get less. That's about the average, right? Do you know what the average illegal gets a month for coming over the border? $3,000. $3,000 is what I hear. That's the statistics that's floating around. Well, you know, because they need food and they need housing and they need healthcare and they need school supplies and they need. They just come over with their hands open, their pockets empty. So, is that right? Is that fair? I mean, is it bad enough that people are going to stop paying taxes? Okay, calm down. I didn't say stop paying taxes. I wouldn't advocate for that. But I wouldn't say that people are going to stand up for this much longer and go, yeah, this is okay. This is all normal. It's like that dog sitting in the burning building. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. So the immigrants, California is trying to pass a bill where they're allowed to vote. They're allowed to vote. If that happens, this country's gone. Because they're not going to vote to uphold the values of our Constitution. They're not going to vote to uphold the values that we have. They're going to vote to make their life easier. And they will. Because California and New York and places like that are going to be like, well, you know, listen, there's more of them now. So we have to vote to give them what they want. Well, what happens then? There's a story I heard a long time ago, and it kind of relates to this. I've said this before on my channel. It's about the people that are pulling the cart to the market, right? There's a little town, a little hamlet out in the countryside. Everyone sells their wares. One guy makes horseshoes, one guy makes leather belts, one woman sews hats, whatever. They spend the whole summer making all these products that they're going to sell at the big town fair. So they load them all up into this wagon, and there's 10 people. There are 10 people in the town that make stuff, and they're going to the market. 10 people pulling the wagon, and everyone's doing great. The wagon's full. They're pulling it. 10 people working in unison. Boom, they're on their way to town. One person gets a blister. Oh, I can't walk. And everyone's like, oh God, you're not doing well. Okay, no problem. Jump in the cart. We'll pull you. And then there's 9 people pulling one person. Not a problem. It's fine. Then another person. Oh, my legs are tired. My feet are sore. So they jump in the cart. Now there's 8 people pulling the cart. And then you get one person having trouble breathing, and they got a rock in their shoe. They're tired. And they ran out of water. Next thing you know, you got 5 people in the cart, 5 people pulling. Well, the 5 people are just leeching off the system and not enough people working. And that's what's going to happen when you get too many migrants voting for themselves. You're going to get migrants that are going, let's vote for this nice big cart. And we're going to let the taxpayers pay it. And we're going to keep jumping in. And then I'm going to invite my cousin to jump in the cart. And then I'm going to invite my family members. I got a niece and a nephew. We're going to invite them to jump in the cart. Next thing you know, you got all these taxpayers pulling way more people. And all they're doing is riding for free and complaining. What happens then? What happens to the cart then? Well, the cart's not going anywhere. But now, you've got more people in the cart than pulling the cart. Well, they take the cart. I mean, that's what happens. That's what happens all over. So if you let them in and then give them all the rights and then pay them to take over, they're going to take over. That's what's happening in California right now. California has rolled out the red carpet for all these immigrants or invaders or undocumented citizens, as they are tempted to call them now. And they're taking over. Now, if they get a chance to vote and they organize all of these people to say, no, we don't want to pay taxes. We don't want to fund Social Security. We don't want to repair the roads in Beverly Hills. We don't live in Beverly Hills, but we're just going to take all the resources and we're going to build community centers. And we're going to build low-cost housing, and then boom, you lost it. And that's what's happening in California. So Trump's got an uphill battle, I'll tell you what. And there's a lot of squishy Republicans that aren't really backing him. Rep. Massey standing high on his principles. You know what, man? I got to tell you, Massey, you've got good principles. And in a different time, they would benefit you. They would serve the Republic. But we're in war times now. You can't play by the old set of rules. When they change the rules to suit them and you're like, okay, I guess I'll just follow these new rules now, you're going to lose. So they lie, they steal, they manipulate, they control the media, they get everyone fooled into believing these fake news narratives. And Massey's like, well, I can only do what's right. Well, they don't do what's right, and they're going to win. So Massey, you might need to be replaced because your morality was great a couple of years ago. It's over, buddy. You can't play that way anymore. You're going to get run over. You're going to get run over, and we're going to lose. So we need more Trumps. We need more Nancy Maces. We need more people like that that are willing to do the hard things and stand up. AOC is going to lie every day of the week. Schiff lies constantly. Swalwell, he'll lie right to your face. He calls Trump a dictator. He does all these things. It doesn't make any difference. They lie. I'm not saying we should lie, but I'm not saying we should, bend to their rules. Oh, they made a rule. Oh, guess we got to follow it. Or maybe you don't. Does that mean disobeying judges? Well, if they're not following the tenets of the Constitution, maybe you just ignore them. The judges don't have a lot of way to enforce the laws. They can just write something down on a piece of paper and go, well, this is my ruling. Okay. Remember, the same judges ruled that Trump is a, 137-time felon? They made the ruling. It's a judge. You can't go against the judge. The judge made a ruling. Yeah, well, you know what? The judge allowed a misdemeanor from 40 years ago to be artificially upgraded to a felony and then just changed the rules so he can be charged with a felony. Those judges? We got to believe those judges? We got to follow their rules? You're kidding me, right? You got to be kidding me. All right, I'm going shopping. That's enough for today. Fun little rant, though. All right, guys, have fun. Enjoy your California. I hope you get more riots. I mean, they're coming whether you like it or not, so it doesn't really matter, but enjoy it. You're going to like them. But keep in mind, these, here's what I want to close on. Here's what I want to close on, this last thing. When Trump does start taking these people that are arrested for the violence in California, when he starts taking them and putting them in buses, going to federal courts in different districts, when that happens, because that's the only way to get them. Well, one, it gets them out of the scene so they can't cause more trouble. Two, it gets them into a court where they're going to be held accountable for their actions. Three, you can now actually charge them with the felonies they deserve. And if you're charged and convicted in a court of law of a felony, you don't get to vote anymore. So this is a very powerful tool that he needs to start using immediately. But when that happens, and I'm predicting it's going to happen pretty soon, when that happens, watch the news. You know what the news is going to say? I can see the headlines now. I can tell you what they're going to say. Trump is kidnapping people. And that's where we're going to end. Trump is kidnapping people. Wait, you'll see it. You'll see it. And when you do, come back and think of me and go, hey, that guy was right. I think I owe him a subscription. I'll subscribe so I can hear more stuff that's going to happen in the future. All right, that's all for today. I see a couple people. Let me pop this up real quick. I've got some chats there below. Kinsley Boydston has said hi. Hi, how are you? Hi, Kinsley. Good to see you. Appreciate you making a comment. Thank you very much. Anyway, I'm going to go shopping, so I'll see you guys in a little while. Thanks a bunch. Hit that like on the way out.